Welcome back to Desktop Bodybuilding, and today I'm joined by one of the biggest up-and-comers in the IFBB pro ranks, in my opinion, Samson Dauda. Mate, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Hello, how you guys doing? How you doing?
Very good, man. And you're actually one of the first pros and top pros that actually reached out to me and tagged me in a post on Instagram. And I said, oh, you're looking awesome. And you said, oh, I love your channel, which was that's humbling for me coming from a pro. And I'm like, that's really cool. And I used to do a lot of interviews back in the day. I used to run RX Muscle Australia, the Australian version. I used to do a lot of interviews and stuff like that with pros, but it was cool to get back into that and get a compliment from pros. So thanks so much for that.
Yeah, man. I watch your channel. Obviously, I always follow obviously the bodybuilding industry on YouTube and everything else. When your channel popped up and you were covering recently, I was thinking, actually, no, I really like your content. I like the fact that when you cover shows, you don't just cover the name guys. You actually cover the whole lineup, and the guys are actually top 10 or whatever in the lineup. I thought, oh, man, that's actually quite nice to see that. And I thought, man, what? From that point, I was like, okay, I got to subscribe. I got to keep watching. And yeah, man,
Thanks,
I really
man.
like it.
I appreciate that. Now let's launch into it, because a lot of people don't know your history. I mean, you were sort of telling me before the interview and gave me a good rundown, and you explained it really well, but I'll probably get you to sort of do the same thing again, because a lot of people don't know you, don't know how you got into bodybuilding, where you came from. They've just seen you sort of last year and seen some of your updates now, and they're like, where did this guy come from? So tell us a little bit about how you got into bodybuilding, where you started, and when it started.
Okay, so originally I'm from Nigeria. Moved to the UK when I was 16, and first started off as a basketball player here in the UK. And I played basketball my life, and I was always a skinny kid, so kind of just kept to that and started going to the gym, because obviously people always it was all about muscles and stuff like that. I thought, okay, I want to get me some, so started hitting the gym and everything else, and I started putting on a little bit of size. And I had friends at the time that told me, you know what, have you ever thought about playing rugby, which is obviously it's almost like American football to guys in the US. So I thought, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll give it a go. So I started playing rugby for a few years. And then 2014, basically, was the first time I really understood even knew about what bodybuilding was. It was 2014. Someone mentioned to me, oh, you're looking quite good. Have you ever thought about competing? And I was like, what? Really? What do you mean competing? Getting in pants and standing on stage? I was like, nah, that's not for me. So after a while, a few people then approached me with that same subject, and I kind of dismissed it off over time. And then I finally was in the gym, and I met my missus at the gym, and she said the same thing to me, that, you know what, maybe you should really think about it. And I thought, okay, you know what, I keep hearing the same comments. Okay, maybe I should look into what actually this bodybuilding thing is. So came out. I remember watching Dead Generation I on DVD. Came out on DVD then, and just got that Generation I. And I remember the day it came out was basically the day I had my first show. So I was basically, coming out of the sport, have no clue about anything. We basically just kind of looked it up and researched as much as we could online. Okay, what do you have to do? You got to diet, you got to do this, you got to do that. Didn't really diet, didn't do any cardio, just up my training, got in shape, thought, okay, jumped in a local show, basically, it was basically for beginners, for the first timers show in the morning. So jumped in there and won the first one. And I was like, oh, wow, this is great. So the organizer of the show basically came back to me and said, man, you look really good, kid. Have you ever thought about, would you rather jump with the big boys at the end of the night? And I thought, yeah, sure, go on, and I'll do it. So going with the big boys later on that evening, I won that too. So I was like, man, and got loads of feedback, people saying, you know what, man, you got real talent for this. You really need to think about really taking this forward. And I thought, wow, I feel really good actually winning something. I was like, hey, okay, cool, yeah, let's do that. So from that point on, basically 2015 was basically my very first start of bodybuilding. Until that point, I had no idea that I would even think about doing anything like that. I mean, I was very skinny at the time. My first competition, I was 102 kilos. So from that point on, it was like, okay, cool. We basically started working on the idea of, okay, what does it take to be a pro bodybuilder? What's the whole industry about? What federation is what? What actually goes on at that point? So we basically, started doing our research and tried picking up things, trying to speak to everybody we know. But taking the fact that I live on the outskirts of London, basically, and where I live, there is no pro bodybuilders. There's hardly any bodybuilders at all, basically. So for you to get that information is just not going to happen. You got nobody to call and say, yo, how do I do this or how do that? So
did you use
we
the
were basically
internet at all?
No, literally all I had basically, I was watching Dave Palumbo. on
Yeah.
RX muscle, and that's basically most of our information at the time was coming from there, and then we were reading up and basically using that kind of information, adding things and trying things out. So basically that year I both qualified for the British, won a local show and qualified for the British for the first time. And the British basically is UK's biggest show. You know, the winner of that, they only give out one pro card a year, and the winner of the overall wins that. So I basically came in. I remember registering for the show, and someone said, "Oh, have you ever competed before?" And I said, "Yeah." It's like, "But have you compared to UK BFF, like the main industry?" I was like, "No." They was like, "Oh, do you want to join in with the intermediate, like with a smaller group?" So I was like, "No, I want to get in with the big boys. Come on, man, sign me up." And the guy kind of looked at me like, "You sure about that?" I was like, "Of course, get me in the big boys." So I remember that show. You know, James was in that lineup, Luke was in that lineup, Jamie Joe Howe was in that lineup. A lot of guys are pro today.
Yeah, it's a
were
lot of
all
good
in that lineup
dudes.
at the time. So I was jumping in them like a unknown for the first time, and I remember coming third in that show. You know,
That's
and
awesome.
going
What year was
came
that?
past. That's 2015.
So that's
Big
1 year after
James,
you started
Big Luke,
bodybuilding.
that was 1 year after I started bodybuilding,
Man.
and it was like a. But you know, everybody else they'll be like, "Man, I can't believe you just came third in the British." For me, I was like, I was pissed off. I was like, "Man, I didn't win." so there was this. I know it's not arrogance, but there's this kind of. I always expect like I got to give everything or nothing, you know. So I was like, "Damn, really?" But you know, after a while, looking back at it, I was like, actually, you know, that was a really big achievement. But at the time, it felt like, but I didn't win it, you know.
Yeah.
So from that point on, we basically did 2016, did the British again, fell down one place, and came fourth. And it was like, man, what the hell? What's going on here? So after that, I was like, okay, you know what? 2017, gonna sign up, do the Arnold Europe, do the British, and do another pro show in Italy, an amateur Olympia in Italy at the time. So we basically did the Arnold Europe. You know, it was a massive lineup. You know, you had guys like Blessing was in that lineup.
Oh,
I don't know if you know about Blessing. He was in that lineup. He ended up winning the class anyway. And a few other guys are pros now. I mean, Andreas Munza was in that lineup as well. And so came fifth in the Arnold Europe. Thought, okay, fair enough. Then when we came around the British, I just lost by 2 points to James Hollinshead for freaking second place, and he won his pro card at the British in 2017.
Yeah.
Then a week later, I went to Italy and I won the overall there and I got my pro card. So me and James only got our pro card a week apart.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, man, and believe me, that didn't go down well. I didn't swallow that nicely, man. That really hurt because people like me, it really hurt because I really didn't want to lose to James. Yeah. So a year on later, we basically both signed up to do Prague show, which was last year, 2018. So I'm thinking, you know what, man, that will never happen again. So when we did Prague, basically, we both did a show. I was fifth and he was sixth. And obviously you had Rowley in the lineup, Lucas Ozadale, Nathan was in the lineup, you know, and that was basically my first pro show. And for me, that was the very first time the guys I've been watching on Generation Irons, the guys that I've been, you know, looking at on TV, Rowley and the big dude, this was the first time me meeting them backstage. So you can imagine this is only the gap of 4 years or even less than that between watching them on TV and now standing on stage, about to go stand on stage with Rowley. I mean, that you don't wrap your mind around that. You just kind of stand there and go, oh, holy crap, you know? So standing on stage with them guys, he really gave me a good insight to say, okay, this is where you are. This is how high them guys are. Okay, you got a lot of work to do. So it was a really good insight for me. And I was like, okay, you know what? Take it on the chin. You just got to go back to the drawing board, start working your ass off, and realize that there's a level of muscularity and density them guys have that you cannot achieve in the time scale you've been in the sport. You really need to step your game. So we were like, okay, hell, we know we can't beat that maturity and things that comes with time, but let's just, you know, bring it together, get as big as we can, get as basically our condition as we can, and come into a new year and really see what we can actually bring. So this year has just been literally constantly all work just to kind of bring in a really strong package this year and try to put as much size as we want and actually bring in that tight condition for this year, basically.
For sure.
So it's just a short I've been doing.
Now, how tall are you?
I'm 5'11", 6 foot.
That's an awesome height. You don't see too many dudes doing really well as pros that are like, you know, around 6 foot. You see guys like, I suppose, Cedric McMillan and guys like that, but there's not a huge amount, which I think it's cool that you've got that, because when I see photos of guys that are, you know, 5'11", 5'10", even 5'10" and above by themselves, I'm like, oh, they're not as big as the other guys. I mean, as soon as you see them stand next to someone,
he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. He's like, pictures, I hate my pictures. Every time we take a picture, I look at it and go, oh, man, I can't stand it. No, take it out of my face. But then you're on stage and you stand next to somebody and you look at it and you go, Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because you never can, for some reason taller guys just don't have that look on pictures as the
yeah,
shorter guys, like 212 guys and stuff do, where they
for
look really
sure.
dense. Is when you stand next to other people, then you realize, oh, actually, hold on, these guys are actually carrying a lot of muscle. They're actually quite big. So I
Yeah.
think it's just one of those irritating things. It's a blessing and a curse, basically.
For sure. Yeah, I think it sort of tricks some people. They think, oh, I've got him. And then they stand next to you and you're like, oh, okay. Because you told me you weigh over 120 kilos, which is, I'm not sure,
Yep.
I don't know if that's 260 pounds or
That's it.
how heavy that is.
Yeah, we're currently coming. I think we're currently coming to this show. I mean, after we dry out and everything, we'll be about 270 this year.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
so
And
120.
even though you're tall, that still is a really good weight. And you've obviously put on a lot of muscle. So how much were you last year?
Last year was literally last year we compared 116, which is 200 and what 50 pounds or something like that.
About
250,
that, probably. Yeah.
250 pounds, about roughly about that. So that's, I mean, we talk about between that, that's good old 7 kilos or 14 pounds if you're going to calculate in that way. That was put on over, I mean, it's not even up to years. I mean, we competed last in November.
Yeah.
So in a short space of time, we really had to step our workload up and really think. And it all comes basically, it all came from learning because at the end of the day, I'm very new to the sport, and we're still learning on how my body works and how to kind of manipulate that to best suit us. So every
Yeah.
year we just tend to get better and try to just, the more we learn, the more we just kind of improve with that.
For
So,
sure. Now, have you got anyone helping you for this contest or are you still doing it yourself?
doing it myself. So me and my partner, we've obviously been together right from the beginning. We've sort of known the way things work and everything else. I mean, tried to coach out in the off season and everything, and it was great. I mean, he really showed us the new things about how to kind of, because I have a massive problem eating loads of food. I'm one of
Yeah.
them guys that don't have an appetite for anything, and I just can't push in that much calories. But he really kind of gave me tips and hints on, okay, have a meal, then have a shake, have a meal, have a shake, and little things I had to really push them calories in. And I know in the off season we got to 140 kilos, which is like 310 pounds, which I have never even dared to even think I'll ever be that big ever again. So we
Yeah.
really kind of pushed the off season. We're like, wow, okay, this is a good thing. But just the thing is, when we came down to prepping, we sort of know exactly how my body is. I can lose muscle and lose size very quickly, and we sort of know, okay, for us to kind of bring things down, we've played it with years of, mistake, trial and error. We knew what, I can, as many of the guys that can just start the prep with like an hour cardio and just start going crazy with it. But for me, my I'm very hyper responsive to everything. So we
Yeah.
have to really taper things very slowly and very carefully. So it's trying to get a coach to sort of step back and understand that you can't prep me the same way you prep everybody else. I'm slightly different and try to learn that. And it was just where we kind of just had our little thing there, and we just said, okay, you know what? Maybe we're best just carrying this on ourselves because we sort of know this part of things.
Yeah.
So
For
yeah,
sure. Well, yeah, everyone's different, I guess, in terms of responding to things. I know, obviously, you respond amazingly to putting on muscle. Like you did a
yeah,
year in, and you're doing amazing. On a national level in contests, competing with top guys. And I know for myself, like I did a transformation challenge and then decided to compete because I got
yeah,
results so quick in terms of getting lean and putting on that little bit of tissue because your body bounces back, I guess, to where it was. And people were saying that this isn't real, these photos are fake, and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, it's cool that you think that. So I'm like,
you think that it actually works out. It's very, I'll take
yeah.
that.
But they don't
So
realize that
yeah,
everyone responds different, And I think once
mhm.
you've been at that level, you respond quicker. But you'll just obviously have really great genetics. But it seems like you've got work ethic as well as that, which is a perfect combination. Like that's like Ronnie Coleman. He had the genetics plus he put the work ethic in as well. So
I
it's
mean, the thing
awesome.
is, at the end of the thing is, I love this sport. I love training. I love being in this sport. It's not. I
It's
mean,
cool.
regardless of before there was sport was actually there, I was already going to the gym. I was already enjoying that part of transformation, actually making your body. So I already enjoyed that. Bodybuilding and actually competing just happens to be like a hobby that actually comes with that as a
Yeah.
bonus to it. So for me, that whole idea of pushing yourself and taking yourself to the max and bringing yourself to the brink of breaking down, but yet just pushing down a little bit further, it's just a big draw for me. I just absolutely love that.
Yeah.
So this sport just gave me a foundation where I can actually do that and actually receive rewards from it. So that's what this has been. So I absolutely love it.
That's so cool, man. Now you mentioned obviously you've been backstage with Rolly and all those guys, and a couple of years earlier they're I suppose your idols, and then all of a sudden they're your
Oh yeah,
competition. Now, out of those dudes, like, is any of them? I
man.
suppose like you probably don't want to say like, oh, this guy's a dick or whatever, but are any of them, I suppose, surprise you how cool they are or whatever?
Man, dude, I was shocked because you know what? Rolly was one of the coolest dude. I mean, you know how big, menacing Rolly looks, man.
Yeah.
You look at him, you just think, holy crap, man. He feels like he's gonna eat me, man. So when meeting backstage, he was so cool and so chill backstage. We were chatting to him, and he was so friendly. And the thing, it was almost surreal because, as I said, this was guys I was watching Generation Iron off of. This is guys I was watching on TV, like, you know, less than 3 years ago. I was watching them. Now I'm here having a conversation and chatting backstage, and we finished from the show itself and went to the athletes dinner, and we were like all just chilling out and chatting. I'm thinking, man, you know, you as much as you think you're working hard and you're competing against them, you can't help but step back and think, man, this is surreal, like really.
Yeah.
And them guys, they were really cool backstage, you know. They were always, I mean, I can't even say, okay, you know, this guy was douchebag or this one was everything else. The most you ever get is the one that don't talk and just have their own quiet corner and just focus on themselves. Cool. Yeah. Everybody, we're all differently in that state. But,
for sure,
man, all in all, man, it's been really cool, man. I really can't say anything more than that, you know.
Definitely. Now, you still work. I remember you saying you got work this day. So what do you do? And I suppose, like, do you plan on having a job long term?
Man, because I've always worked, because I work in construction. You know, I work for a building site, and I just basically do maintenance work on a building site and everything else. So I work obviously 8 to 5, just normal day hours. Because what I've done right before bodybuilding was a hobby to me. Going to the gym was a hobby. You're just like every other single guy out there. It's like you work 9 to 5, you finish from work, you chill for a bit, you go to the gym, you come home. That's it, you know. And this is exactly the same thing. There's absolutely nothing special about my life. That's all I've done. But it just happens that for some reason I just have to have this little talent for this sport and to be able to achieve something from it. But in terms of work, I love working. I love the idea because it gives me structure. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me structure. Because as much as I love bodybuilding, I don't think I'll cope very well if my whole life is literally completely taken up by it. I do like the idea of being able to compete and be this one day and then go back to a normal life tomorrow and just go back to work and act like nothing ever happened. You know, I mean, I remember when I won my pro card, I had to be back at work the next day. So it was like, oh, man, great, I just turned pro, wow. And then it's like, okay, man, go over there and go freaking fix that shelf. So it was basically like, oh, okay, yeah, thanks, bro. But you know, this is the thing, like, it's just having that stability and having that something to keep you grounded, you know. And I think for me, until it's the point where I'm such in a high demand that I can't keep both, I think I'll still carry on doing both, man, because I do love that. I love my 9 to 5, and it does give me structure. And you know, my days are planned out simply. You know, everything is planned around work, it's planned around that, and it's all structured out for me. So yeah, I do kind of love that.
That's cool. Now, I saw a video that went up on the guy who promotes the British Grand Prix, and it's basically you saying, like, you're going to beat Nathan D'Asha, and it seemed like, obviously, you know, they're trying to drum up some publicity and stuff for the show, which is really cool. Do you believe you can beat Nathan D'Asha, though?
You know what? This is the thing, right? Everybody kind of thinks, like, you know, when Sean Roden turned around and he said last year, man, I'm going to come in, I'm going to beat Phil Heath. Everybody said, like, oh, yeah, that's just all talk. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, when Jay said he was going to beat Ronnie, he was like, yeah, we heard that before. You know, it's been a thing where when someone says that, it's like, oh, yeah. But the thing is, who goes into a show, goes through a prep, does all that, and don't go with the state of mind that I'm going in to win? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So for my mind, I'm thinking I'm doing every single thing I can to beat the champ, to take out the champ. You know, regardless of, even though I got a 1% chance of getting that done, I'm gonna make sure I do everything I can to get that 1%, to make that 1% happen. So when I'm going to the show and they ask me, man, do you think you could be there? I'm like, yeah, damn right. Of course, I'm working for it. I've been training for it. I've been pushing myself for it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nathan is no pushover, man. God damn, Nathan is Nathan. He's by far like, wow, okay. Yeah. But I'm under no delusions about that. But for me to say, well, because of that, I'm just, well, you know, it is what it is. Oh, well, don't bother even thinking about it. Just keep that out of your mind. No, this is the game. It's a competition. You know, it's a competition. You have to train with the idea of he's the best in the UK. I want to be the best in the UK. What does it got to be? I got to beat him. Okay, cool. Guess what? I'm going to the gym. I'm going to train my ass off. I'm going to kill myself if I have to. But I'm coming into this show to beat him because he's the champ. So it's no, if anything, I don't know, it's no disrespect to him in any way. If anything, I admire him because he gives you that drive for me to push myself even more because I know the level he's at. And for me to catch him, I got to take myself to a whole different level just to be able to make up the ground to catch him. But this year, I think, yeah, we have put enough package together because definitely to have something to make people, if not beat him, to have people actually look and go, ooh, maybe this wasn't as simple as we thought when we stand next to each other on stage. And I really, really am looking for the point where we actually stand next to each other on stage.
Yeah,
You know?
and some of the names I've seen in this lineup as well, like they're guys that, like I might say, you know, going into the show are sort of close with you, and if you beat these names, people are going to go, where did this guy come from? Wow, like this guy looks awesome. Yeah. So there's a lot of names like that, and I've even noticed in shows throughout this year, like you've got John De La Rosa coming fourth in the New York, and then a week or two later goes and competes and wins, and if he brought that same package, he probably maybe would have won New York, you know. So I think a lot of these guys now are so close that if you come in a little bit better or a little bit worse, it can really change your placings a huge amount.
You can change your placing quite a big amount, And I just feel like when you go into the show, you basically, I mean, for me, this is what it's always been. Even right from when I was doing the British, I always think, okay, who's the British champ? Who's the past champ? Okay, he is. Okay, guess what? I'm coming for him. So for me, my mentality has always been like, it's a silly mentality to have, but I've been raised up that way. I just can't help it. That's just why I look at, okay, what do I got to, for me to be the best, who I got to take out? Okay, the best. That's him. Okay, guess what? I'm doing whatever I can to come after him. Yeah. So that's just the mentality I have. I can't, even if I was doing the Olympia, I'll still be thinking the same thing. Okay, who's the champ? Sean Rollins. Okay, man, okay. Him? Okay, what do I got to do to catch him? Okay, give me another 4 years, 5 years. Okay, guess what? I'm training my ass off every single day with the thought of I'm coming after him. You know, and you know that's just how my mentality has worked. That's always been sort of my drive behind training is okay, give me a target and I'm gonna put everything I can to hit that target. You know, so this is just exactly what this is. Is basically I've got a target and I'm feeling like okay, I'm gonna do everything to get for it. It's just basically as they say, you know, aim for the moon. If you miss, at least you land among the stars, right? And this is exactly the same mentality, you know.
That's cool. Now, a lot of the British dudes seem to be really strong. Like you've got Luke Sando, you've got James Hollingshead, all those dudes, super, super strong. Even Nathan D'Asher as well. Like you guys are just, there's something over there that just makes you guys strong. Are you the same way?
Man, I'm exactly the same way as them guys, man. We always go in hard. I mean, I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's the durian mentality or whatever it is, or is the closeness of the competition. The thing is, I'm probably the only one that says that I want to be the next British champ. I want to be best in the UK. Well, I know every single one of us, we all thinking exactly the exact same thing. Yeah. We all want to take each other out, and we all might say it in front of interviews, like, because I'm the only one who will come out and say it. We might be like, no, we all friends, we all cool, we don't mind. Yeah, we just trying to just hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Nah, we all think exactly the same way. We want to take each other out on the stage. We want to be the best. So when we train without it. Because if I look at Instagram, I see James squatting 7th place. I'm like, guess what? Guess what I'm doing today? I'm squatting 7th place. If I look at Nathan and he's benching 3rd place, I'm like, oh, guess what? I'm benching that stuff too. So it's the same. Is that drive of we pushing off each other that same way? And I think that's probably one of the drives that we kind of look at it now, and that's why we're growing up so much, because Nathan kind of set the bar for us, and it caused all of us to now say, okay, right, if he can do it, guess what? We're all going to have to try to do it. We're all going to try. We're all going to do it. So I think that's kind of giving us that drive where now it's almost this hunger mentality, because we've seen the sign of success of what we can bring, and now we're all hungry for it, and we're all coming after all we got.
Yeah. You know? For sure. Now, with your job and everything, just say you compete in this show, you do really well. Just say, for example, you got 2nd or 3rd or something like that, and people going, oh, you could have even won it. Would you then go and compete in like Chicago or anything like that, or does it not allow you with your job?
I've already signed up for it. I've already signed up for 4 shows. Awesome. I know guys like to keep it secret and be like, oh no, I don't know. For me, I'm up front with everything, because I'm doing British first, Chicago, Vancouver, and Portugal. So the 4 shows in a row, I'm doing awesome. 4 of them. And I've already booked off time off for them 4 shows. So it's already in the books. I've signed the contract. I can't turn back now. So there's no point in me trying to play games and say, well, maybe it depends on what I feel like. No, I'm doing it.
That's cool,
come rain or snow, I'm coming. Yeah.
So the idea of doing multiple shows, is that to try to get to the Olympia? So if you qualified on points, would you go?
I mean, come on, man. This is like what pro bodybuilder doesn't dream of standing on Olympia stage and taking the fact. You talk about guys that have competed for 20 years. I only started this just the other day. I only just started not long ago. I was only watching it on TV not long ago, you know. And now I've never even been to Vegas, no more less even Olympia before. I've never been to an Arnold competition before.
Vegas is cool.
For me to say exactly. So for me to say I'm going to Vegas, I'm going to Olympia for the first time, and I'm actually in the show, it's like come on, man, how can you not just your
that'd be
jaw just
crazy.
drop and think, holy crap? So my goal is like, yeah, just like every other man, I definitely want to qualify for the Olympia this year, and that would be such a dream come true, man. Just, I mean, I think everybody probably go up to Olympia like, yeah, I made it. I'll probably be breakdancing onto the stage like, yeah, I'm here. So I'll be that guy with a big smirk on his face before anything happens, you know.
That's so
So
cool,
yeah,
man.
definitely.
I love your passion, like, because a lot of guys they just play it sort of cool, but you're just like, you're very open and very honest, and the passion that you have, I suppose, for the sport and the excitement you have, man. It's like you're like a kid in a candy store, like with your
Oh
excitement
yeah.
for this thing, and I love that, man. Because I had one of my good mates, he just qualified earlier in the year for the 212 Olympia, and he's like sending me the contract. He's like, I can't believe it, man, and he's just like,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
excited. And I'm like,
of
that's like you.
course. Because the thing is, I keep telling people, I was never in this industry. I was never born in this lifestyle. I'm just an average guy, just like everybody else. I go work 9 to 5, and I do everything. So for this to then like not fall in my lap, but for me to then have an opportunity to do something like this, it's like, how can you not be? You know, how can you not be,
Yeah,
over the moon about it? How can you not be? You basically been blessed with a talent, and you finally, we all live our life never knowing what our true talent was, and finally for you to find yours and thinking, guess what? This is what you're meant to do. This is what you're good at. And now you actually have an opportunity to do that. I mean, come on, man. How can you not be proud of it? How can you not be excited about it? So I
yeah,
think, yeah, for me, this is, I mean, every moment. I know there's loads of downtime when things don't go right and you lose shows and don't place well, and you feel like crap. And trust me, coming up last year, I felt like absolute crap. I was thinking, man, because I've never been in second call out in a show before. So I came into a pro show thinking, man, okay, I wasn't thinking I was going to kill it, but I was thinking, man, come on, man. I just placed fifth in Prague. Come on, I can at least make first call out every show after that. But I got my ass whooped. Seriously, I got my ass whooped bad. I mean, I went from fifth to eighth, then eighth to 13th, and I'm to 11th. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? So obviously that hurt a lot. I mean, it's
yeah.
not even denying that. So I'm coming up and I start questioning everything, thinking, man, am I really good at this, or am I just been lucky this whole time? I mean, what, he starts questioning things, and
Yeah,
and
you
it
think
took a lot.
irrationally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just, your mind goes everywhere. You kind of think, man, I don't know, And my partner had to convince me a lot and say, look, get it out of your mind. Just plan for next year. Just give it all you got. Do everything you can. Just do for next year. So we kind of thought, okay, you know what? Take away the glimmer and shine. Go back to the basic, the idea of what you actually started this for. You love being in the gym. You love training. You love that whole idea of it. Go back to that and don't focus on anything else. So
yeah,
we literally went back to that throughout the whole off season. Just okay, train. Just focus on that. And it really did show up this year. It felt like a refreshing breather and coming back out and going, I just had a break, and now I'm
yeah.
excited to be back on it again. And that's what it feels like. And I'm really aching to get back on stage now and be like, man, how can I not be excited? I want to be on stage again. And I'm like, hey, I'm
Sure.
signing on stage with Nathan. Well, of course, man. Then gotta be excited about this. So definitely.
That's so cool, man. I'm so excited for you because I had no idea that you'd only been bodybuilding since 2014. Only you turned pro after 3 years, and it sort of just blows my mind. Like, how old are you now?
I'm 33.
33, still young, man. Like,
Yeah.
still young, and only bodybuilding since 28. So that just blows my mind. So obviously your physique's still young, and you'll be able to compete,
Yeah.
well into your 40s, if not your
Perfect.
50s, like Dexter Jackson. So
Yeah. So I know that's why we say. I mean, as much as the thing is, people think, oh, you're doing a lot to push on a lot of size, but the thing is, we're not. His body's just, because I'm still new and still fresh to it. Body's just responding quite well to everything. Everything
yeah,
we do is like we try and do a bit, and he's like, oh crap, that works, and we try something else, and that works too, and he's just like, I'm just responding, and that's why I said, like, every year since I started off, he's like, we're putting on 8 pounds of muscle every year. It's just been constant like that every year, and
yeah,
I'm like, okay, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just enjoy the ride and take it as it is. As long as you make sure that you're keeping healthy, you're giving your body enough rest after the shows, and you're taking your time, and you're not doing nothing crazy. Just enjoy the ride as it goes, and just take it for what it is. And yes, you're still young, and yes, most of the guys are going to have that muscle maturity and that graininess and that hardness that you're going to take a few more years to get that. But bringing that look of the 90s, bringing that lines and the flex wheeler and that look that makes people actually look and go, oh man, we haven't seen that since this time. We haven't seen that since that. Give them that alternative to what the modern bodybuilding is, and see how much. Then when you stand next to each other and let people actually look and go, oh, actually, I can see the difference is now a choice of apples and oranges. Which one do you prefer? So that's basically what our theory has been. It's like, okay, You might not have the density and graininess than most of these guys, but have the lines and the shape to make people actually think, well, I like that's hard, but I prefer this, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you got awesome
yeah,
lines, man. Like I look at your physique and I'm like, yeah, that's what bodybuilding should be. And it's just, I think, like I said, it's so exciting to see you come up. And I'm sure a lot of people after they watch this, they're going to be fans of you and are going to want to follow your career, because I feel like it's, if you maintain that passion and that, I suppose, that energy for the sport, then you're bound to do amazing things. And I'm sure we'll see you on that Olympia stage and climbing up through placings. So I think it's really
thank
cool.
you very much. Thank you.
Do you have
Thank you very
anyone you
much,
want to
bro.
thank or anything like that?
I mean, obviously, as I said before, obviously, I've been, it's basically, I got a small group of people that's helping me out. What's my partner? She helps me out. And Chris Jones, he's the only other person else. And even the promoter of Two Bros, Ian, he's another one he's obviously convinced me to come on, do his show. And he's kind of backed me up and got me a lot of publicity with the post he did last week that
Yeah.
got a lot of stick for it, for running my mouth. Yeesh. But that has kind of brought a lot of light to everything. And I just want to thank them because, they've really kind of supported me when I was basically even doubting what my capabilities were. But they were behind me to say, you know what, you've got a real good talent for this. Don't throw it away, really. There's always going to be down times. There's always going to be times where you don't feel like you should do this or you can do this, but just go on anyway. And I hope that this year I do them proud, because that would mean a lot to me, just to be able to kind of show them that their faith in me wasn't misplaced, So,
For sure.
yeah, I'm really want to thank them.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being on the show, bro. Also, for everyone watching as well, make sure you tune in to the preview we're going to do for the British Grand Prix. Also, the wrap-up, that will be up as soon as possible after the show. And if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up and let me know what you think of the interview with Samson Dauda, and leave it all in the comments below. And if you're not subscribed, hit the notification bell button. And Samson, thanks so much again for being on the show. That's
Thanks for
Samson
having me,
Dauda.
man.
I think a guy who's going to be on the Olympia stage before we know it. Thanks, mate.
Thanks very much, man. Thank you.